Things are heating up in the documents case against Donald Trump, and Jack Smith, late last week, he put forward a filing that I believe was over 70 pages to Judge Eileen Cannon. And 15 of those pages were devoted simply to debunking all of the false things that Donald Trump has not just said in the public's eye, but the false narrative that Donald Trump has submitted in his court filings to Judge Cannon herself. Smith had to spend 15 pages debunking all of this BS that Trump has been trying to feed the judge. Now, before I read you just a sampling of Smith's thing, and by the way, there's a lot of legalese, so bear with me on it, but it's important to point out what Trump has said in his filings. First and foremost, Donald Trump, aside from all the allegations, this is a Biden-driven thing, oh, I'm so angry, he has claimed, one, that he was actually given permission by, I believe it was the Department of Homeland Security. They told me, the Department of Energy. He told me, Trump says of the Department of Energy, that I'm allowed to take these documents, that I have the clearance and it's okay if I take these documents. I forget the technical name of the form they submitted to allow Trump to take the documents, but Trump said in the court filing, via his lawyers, they made the filing so that I could take these documents. That's important to remember. He said they gave him permission and they did the paperwork. Remember that. Second thing, he said, plus, I had that security clearance, so I'm allowed to see all these things. But as Smith pointed out in the filing, that security clearance actually ended the moment your term ended as president of the United States. Like you don't keep that. That doesn't just stay with you. It expired the day, actually January 20th, 2021 at noon Eastern, it expired. And he's still telling the judge, like, no, I have this thing, this Q clearance or whatever it is. But it's the first claim, right? That, hey, they let me take these. They said I could have them. Here's what Smith said in his filing. The defendants rely on a pervasively false narrative of the investigation's origins. Their apparent aim is to cast a cloud of suspicion over responsible actions by government officials diligently doing their jobs. The defendants' insinuations have scant factual or legal relevance to their discovery requests, but they should not stand uncorrected. Put simply, the government here confronted an extraordinary situation. A former president engaging in calculated and persistent obstruction of the collection of presidential records, which, as a matter of law, belong to the United States for the benefit of history and posterity, and, as a matter of fact, here included a trove of highly classified documents containing some of the nation's most sensitive information. The law required that those documents be collected. To develop its counter-narrative, the defendants cherry-pick exhibits and selectively quote from documents that the government itself produced in discovery, putting a nefarious gloss on innocuous events. But selective quotations from documents coupled with speculative leaps do not make for genuine factual disputes, much less, contrary to the defendant's claim, the necessity for an evidentiary hearing. Which basically means, like, he's saying that, oh, we didn't do this in discovery, but we did, and we're proving it, so we should have an evidentiary hearing. And Smith is saying, we don't need an evidentiary hearing. You know the evidence we have. We've already shared it all with you. You're just trying to waste time. And I guarantee you, by the way, Cannon will let him do it. He then also pointed out that Trump says, let's go through the database to see where they filed this thing telling me I can have the documents. We need to do that, in the evidentiary hearing. And Jack Smith's like, no need. And I'm paraphrasing here. He says, I've been through that database. I looked for the filing that said you're allowed to have these documents. And you know what? It doesn't exist. I really feel like there ought to be more penalties for lying to a judge. I mean, if I were to do it, I'd go to jail. If you did it, you'd go to jail. But Trump claiming that he was given permission to take these documents, they filed that in court. That's not true, according to Jack Smith. And if Jack Smith is correct that it is not true, then that means Trump had his lawyers lie to the judge. In any other ordinary trial, this individual would be immediately held in contempt. But because this is in front of Judge Cannon, and Cannon's going to do whatever she can do to protect Trump, nothing will happen, as per usual, and Trump will probably get his way. One of today's video sponsors is Magic Spoon, the makers of high-protein cereals that taste just like your favorite cereals from when you were younger. Let's face it, adult cereals are boring. For too long, we've been forced to start our day with bland cereals in order to get the nutrients that our bodies need. But thanks to Magic Spoon, you no longer have to sacrifice flavor in order to have a great cereal. Magic Spoon has replicated your favorite childhood cereals not just to taste good, but each serving contains 0 grams of sugar, except for the honey nut flavor that has 1 gram of sugar because it contains real honey. Each serving also has 13 to 14 grams of protein and only 4 to 5 net grams of carbs. Magic Spoon is keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free, and it's a way to relive those moments watching your favorite childhood cartoons on Saturday mornings. Plus, it's only 140 calories a serving. It's like there's magic in every spoonful. And with over 8 unique flavors, you won't get bored of feeling good with Magic Spoon. I've always been a huge fan of mixing the cocoa and the frosted flavors, which creates a chocolate cake-like flavor, but I'm also partial to the fruity flavor as a late-night snack. And they've got other great flavors like peanut butter, blueberry muffin, maple waffle, honey nut, cookies and cream, and cinnamon roll. And now the birthday cake flavor is back. This super popular, previously limited edition only flavor is back to stay. Head to magicspoon.com/ROF to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try the magic for yourself. And be sure to use our promo code ROF at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/ROF and use the code ROF to save $5 off.